Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for tuning in, and if you haven't clicked on that subscribe button, this is the right time. Go ahead, click on the subscribe button so that we can grow. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so in my last video, I talked about the differences between childcare back home and childcare in Deutschland. And in today's video, I'm going to talk about childcare in Deutschland. And this video is just meant to help someone who is willing to move to Germany and you just want to know how the childcare here goes. Or maybe you're already here, but you haven't had a child before, so you just want to know how it works here in Deutschland for if you want to get your child in kindergarten. So just a disclaimer before we start this video. What I'm going to talk about in this video is from my own experience. I am not any kind of professional or something. I'm just sharing my own personal experience and then just trying to help someone out there. If you really want some professional help, you can always check out the website of the Jugendamt, or you can visit the Jugendamt close to your area. Thank you. Okay, so the first important thing that you have to note is it's not easy to get a place for your child to be in kindergarten here in Deutschland. I think this is a problem that is like everywhere in Germany. So wherever you want to go, you have to know that it's not easy for you to get a place. I think the only difference is maybe if you stay in the city center, or maybe if you stay in the a little bit outside of the city center. Outside it's a little bit easier, and inside the center it's always like difficult for you to get a place. So always be on time. Maybe if you're still pregnant, you have to start looking. Maybe the time that you just know you're pregnant, just get ready and start looking for a kindergarten for your child. You register on the kindergarten that you wish to take your child to. It's really important that you do that. And even maybe if you are not yet in Deutschland, it might be difficult if you don't know where you're going to be staying. So maybe you just have to wait for the time that you get here. But as the moment you just come here and you know where you're going to be staying, you have to start already to look for a place. Because sometimes it just goes with a matter of luck. You might be lucky the moment you just go to a kindergarten, they tell you we already have a place for a child, and ta-da, everything goes on. But you might be so unlucky you won't find a place in time. So always be ready to be on this journey and find a kindergarten for your child. And moving on from there, you have to keep in mind that there are two ways that you can take care of your child, like two main ways that you can take care of your child here in Deutschland. The first one is you can take your child to a kindergarten, and the second one is you can take your child to a tagesmutter, like a day's mother, if I translate it to English. So it's like a day's mother is like for a person who just go and then they do a course for a few months or weeks. I'm not really sure, but they just take care. They can only take care of kids that are between the ages of maybe less than 1 until 3 years old. From 3 years old, the kids will have to move to elementary in kindergarten. So this tagesmutter is a good choice for maybe if you know that your child is not yet ready for like the kindergarten environment. You want them to still have this feeling of being at home. You can always choose a tagesmutter, but also you have to know you have to start looking when there's still time, because there are not a lot of them, so it might be difficult for you to get one. So always be on time. And then the second one is you can choose to take a child to a kindergarten. So in kindergarten now, it's also good to take your child to a kindergarten because they will have like a krippe where they take like babies until they are 3 years old, and then they move on to elementary, which is like from 3 years to up until they go to school. You can choose to take your child until they are ready to start grade 1, or in some places your child can go and prepare for grade 1 already at school, like they can go do like a grade 0 at school, but you can also choose to do that at a kindergarten. So you can choose to take your child also to a kindergarten, and the issue is still the same. It's not easy for you to get a place, so always you have to start on time. And then now moving on to like finding the place for a kindergarten. So I heard that you can also go to the Jugendamt of your area's page, and you can always register yourself there for you to be able to get a kindergarten place for your child. But I didn't do it that way. I'm going to share with you what I know and what I have done. So you can always go to any Jugendamt page and you can find that information. But as for me, I'm going to only share what I did. So what I always done with my kids is I always looked for the place myself. I always went to the internet and then I just Google kindergartens near me, and then it come up a list, and then I just call them up and ask, do you have a free place available? Or like with my first child, I even went to the kindergarten and then I asked them, do you have a open place? And then they said yes, and then we started the registration process. And so, but with my second one, I did it over the phone. I called them. Like I started when I was still pregnant, so I managed to like get 2 kindergarten places, and then I had to choose between the 2. So when I was choosing, now I had to choose the one that was like more closer to our house. It's really important that you find a kindergarten that is so close to your house, so that number one, your child does not have to like travel a long distance every day before they get to the kindergarten, and it's also easier for you. You drop the child and then you can be on your way. So it's also very important that you find a kindergarten that is close to your house. Or maybe some people can say maybe you find a kindergarten that is close to your work, or maybe that is in between your way in between your home and your work. So on the way you can drop the child. Okay, yeah, that's what I mean. So it's really important. You like, I think you just have to have all the time when you're looking for a kindergarten. You don't want to make any mistakes and then you end up regretting when you already have the place, because you know it's not going to be like as easy as just changing. So you really have to put down all these notes down to see the important things, like before you can register your child at kindergarten. And so now you got the kindergarten. Another important thing to note is that here in Germany, every kid is allowed to be in kindergarten for 5 hours in a day, and this will go for free. If you want more hours, you have to be doing something. You have to be working, or like you have to prove that you cannot be at home with your child. Maybe you're working or you're going to school. So or you have to also, it's something that you also have to put in mind, that you can only get 5 hours if you are at home. And if you're doing something now, depending on the area that you stay, you have to pay a little bit more money. Sometimes it's even for free. Like if you're working or if you're going to school, it's for free, but it's not in every area, and there are also a lot of aspects that they look at before they can say it's for free. So you have to, I just wanted to tell you that if you want your child to stay in kindergarten for more than 5 hours, you might have to pay more money. That is like, for every child, you have to pay for food for your child, and on top of that, if you are having more than 5 hours, you will have to pay a little bit more money for like the extra hours. Although it might not be like too much in some places, but in some places it can also be a lot of money, especially if both parents are working, or if maybe one parent is working but they are earning a lot. Here in Germany, you know, it's always about how much you earn, so you have to like check out with your own Jugendamt to see how it goes. So yeah, that's it. You get 5 hours. And also, The other important thing is that if you can also take your child to kindergarten before they turn 1 year, but like I said, you will be getting like only 5 hours. And if you want your child to stay in kindergarten for more than 5 hours, you will have to pay for like the extra hours, and you will have to pay the money direct to the kindergarten. And in some case, like I have a friend who told me that you had to pay like 5 euros per hour. And like for example, if you take the 8-hour contract, it means you're going to be paying like 15 euros per day. And if you multiply that by 5 and then by 4, you find the amount that you'll be paying per month for your child. So yeah, in Germany here, mostly you can stay at home with a child for up to 1 year. So I think if you really do not have like some pressing things to do in Germany, it's so easy for you to stay at home with your child for at least 1 year. But if maybe you have some pressing issues, maybe I should just tell you, you can take your child to a kindergarten, but you can only get 5 hours, and the other hours you will have to pay with your own money. And the other thing that you also have to take note of if you want to take a child to a kindergarten is you have to be up to date with your Gelbenheft, like that yellow book that you get for your child. They always want to see that book the first day that you go with your child to kindergarten. So please always be up to date. It's also good for your child that they are getting enough medical care. So always be up to date with your yellow book. And I think this is the last point that I'm going to talk about when it comes to childcare here in Germany. You also have to note that here in Germany, you don't just take your child to school, you leave them and then you run. No. Here they have like, it's like a process of getting your child into kindergarten. You don't just go the first day, you leave your child and you run. You have to go there, you leave your child, and you have to go there, and then the first day you stay with them. I think I talked about it in my like other video, so I won't have to like talk too much about it in this one. But in short, you go with your child, and then you stay for like the first days you stay with them for an hour, and then the next week maybe you leave them for an hour, you come back and take them, and then the third week you leave them at the door, you say bye, and then you go, just for them to see, like to prepare your child that you're going to be leaving them somewhere where you won't be there. It's like to prepare their mind and their mood and everything. So you have to know that if you want to be doing something, know that you have to maybe register your child a month before the time that you'll be doing something, so that you get to do this Einwohnung process with your child in peace. And sometimes if your child is a difficult one, it might be longer, so you have to maybe put a month or two for you to do this process, and then your child is ready to be in kindergarten. And sometimes if your child feels like they are not ready, you might be told to like stay at home with your child a little bit more. So you also have to be ready for that to happen, if especially you know that your child is like I know kids are different. There are some kids who can just go with the flow, and some kids it's really difficult. So if you have that type of difficult child, you have to be ready to that it might take longer for your child to like be ready for this new adventure. And a bonus point that I'm just saying, this is only what I think, and this is only what I do. I think if you're like, for example, if you're going to take your child to kindergarten when they are still young, when it comes to like the language issue, if you know that your German is so good and it's so perfect, then yes, you can go ahead and speak to your kids in German. But as for me, I feel like if my German is not that perfect, and I want my child to like speak good German, so I always stick to the language that I know I'm good at, which is English. I always speak to my kids in English, and they will go to kindergarten, and then they will learn like the good German language, they will have the good vocabulary, the good grammar, instead of me to be like colonizing their brain with my catastrophic Deutsch, and then in the end they are like in between the good Deutsch and the bad one. So if you always try to speak to your kids in a language that you are more comfortable in. And also I think it helps if you are like speaking in a language that you are comfortable in, you'll be able to help your kids even with their speech, because you'll be speaking to them more and you are like more relaxed when you speak to them. So yeah, that's just my 2 cents, but you can always choose what you want. If you feel like you want to speak, even though you know your German is not that good, but you still want to speak to your kids in German, it's your choice. I'm not telling anyone what to do with their kids. It's just how I do it. Okay. So thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you guys watching. So if I said something and you have another information, feel free to say that in the comment section. Or maybe if I left out something and you want to ask, please, you can also leave your questions in the comment section. And well, thank you so much for watching.